Thank you for staying with Checkpoint. In Kenya, where potatoes are the second most important food crop after maize, a persistent enemy threatens both harvests and livelihoods. Potato late blight disease. This aggressive disease, if not controlled, can lead to devastating economic and food security losses. But hope is sprouting in the form of science. As trials move from the lab to the field, this innovation could mark a new era for potato farming in the country. Agutu Rosa with more.
One Kenyan consumes more than 40 kilograms of potatoes per year. Potatoes are Kenya's second most important food crop after maize. However, over the years, this important commodity has been affected by late blight, a disease infecting leaves, stems, and potato tubers. The disease spreads quickly in fields and can result in total crop failure if untreated. However, there could be hope for farmers. Following this unending predicament that gained fame during the Irish potato famine of 1840s, researchers of Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization (KALRO) are cultivating genetically modified GM potatoes that can resist the disease. The project, which was tested across multiple trials, involves the insertion of a blight-resistant gene sourced from a wild potato relative into local Kenyan varieties. This genetic modification enables the plants to withstand the fungus responsible for late blight. Dr. Moses Nyongesa, a research scientist, says potato blight leads to 30% yield losses if no adequate control measures are put in place.
To be able to control the disease, the farmers continuously have to rely on fungicides, which are costly, which have also health and environmental implications if they are not used appropriately. So as KALRO, we deliver numerous tools available to make them available to the farmer to increase the basket of choices. Among the available options, we have, in addition, provided the biotechnology-derived approaches.
The biotechnological choices are potatoes that are resistant to the notorious disease potato late blight.
We have now a biotechnology potato variety that is under development at quite advanced stages now. We have gone through the proof of concept. The potato carries genes for resistance, complete resistance to potato blight. So when it is used to grow in the field by farmers, the farmers will now have no need to spray this particular potato variety.
On whether it will be available for licensing, Dr. Nyongesa says KALRO has a licensing agreement that is non-exclusive.
It will be licensed to the seed companies to commercialize this so that it is available to, the seed is available to farmers who may demand them for growing. So it will not be exclusively licensed.
Dr. Miriam Biu, an agriculture research professional, says the potatoes have been inserted with gene that confers resistance.
We have been able to come out with a potato through the lab methods where we have been able to harvest genes of resistance from the potato wild relatives, and we have inserted into our local varieties. Some of the local varieties that we have been able to insert our genes of resistance that confers late blight resistance is a variety that is popularly known, Shangi. We have inserted this resistance gene into our variety called Asante. We have inserted this gene into a potato that we call Tigoni.
Dr. Mbiu also adds that they progressed the trials into the field for 2 seasons in 3 agroeconomical locations, Kiambu County, Nyandarua County, and Nakuru County, and concluded the confined field trials to prove whether the varieties or the events transformed are able to withstand late blight resistance. Apart from resistance, what other differences do GM potatoes have compared to the conventional potatoes?
These varieties are not different from the other. In terms of proteins, carbohydrates, the phenolic compounds, we were able to test about 13 of those nutrition composition. In terms of the agronomic data, that includes the vegetative and also the tubers, we were able to find out the non-transformed varieties and transformed variety. They were not different from each other.
What is the process before approval?
Once the technology is developed in the lab, which we did more than 3 years ago, it goes through the phase of proving the concept, making sure that it works.
The trials are also done under controlled environments, in special plots called the control field trials, managed by the National Biosafety Authority, but the trials themselves are conducted by the researchers. Once level of the confined field trials have been concluded, they wait for the approval from the National Biosafety Authority. After the approval is given, there will be public participation. Then, approval will be given for researchers to proceed to conduct national performance trials. They will be conducted in different locations across the country where potatoes are produced.
We are hoping and looking to do this in 6 locations in major potato growing areas, so that we are now coming closer to where the farmers will interact with this potato variety.
The tests are conducted by another government regulator called the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service. Once the data from these national performance trials is assembled together and assessed, then the recommendation for variety release will be made based on these reports. According to Professor Douglas Miano, a Kenyan scientist, virologist, and biotechnological expert, biotechnology is using modern science to enhance the quality or the output of the products.
Part of biotechnology, you see there is the first part of bio, that means about the life processes.
Yes.
And there is the technology, that means that you are using science to improve the processes. So basically, when you talk about biotechnology, we are talking about using modern sciences to enhance the quality or the output or the products that can come from a particular product.
Professor Miano adds that scientists can use genetic engineering, which results in GMO, or even using modern techniques like genome editing. What is the difference between genome editing and genetic modified organisms? In GMO, scientists add genes from another species into a plant or animal. It's like borrowing DNA from one living thing and putting it into another. In simple terms, GMO is like when you're baking bread and you add an ingredient from a different dish to improve the bread, i.e., to make it taste different or prevent it from going bad faster. In genome editing, you are baking the bread, but now you make changes by removing some ingredients from the bread, not from outside. For example, reducing sugar or yeast to improve the quality. It's like editing a typo, just removing and not adding anything from outside. In 2012, Kenya implemented a ban on importing and cultivating GMO crops due to health, environmental, and socio-economic concerns. In 2019, the ban was partially lifted to allow cultivation of BT cotton, aimed at resisting bollworm pests. In October 2022, the cabinet announced the lifting of the decade-long ban permitting both GMO maize and cotton to address food security amid severe drought. Early 2023, a petition was filed pausing the rollout of GMO maize. In late 2023 to 2024, courts largely dismissed early challenges. The Environment and Land Court in October 2023 and the High Court in November 2024 ruled that lifting the ban was lawful and backed by a robust regulatory framework. On 7th March 2025, Court of Appeal overturned earlier rulings, lifting the ban imposed on technology. Professor Miano says there's a misunderstanding of information and therefore it leads to difference in interpretation.
So the people who do not know may be misled by people who are not giving the full information. So we can say maybe that there is misunderstanding of the information and therefore it leads to differences in interpretation of what is done.
These elements anchored on policies.
During the opening ceremony of the Kenya National Research Festival on 18th August in Nakuru County, the Permanent Secretary Science, Research and Innovation, Professor Shaukat Abdul Razak, said misinformation and disinformation is plenty when it comes to matters science.
It is unacceptable 60 plus years after independence, we are not self-sufficient in food. It is unacceptable. And that's why there is a solution. The solution is to embrace science, technology, and innovation and be able to produce what we love most and be able to safeguard and protect it under food safety and food security. It is unacceptable that whatever we produce, 30 to 40% goes to waste because of post-harvest losses. Yet we have a technology. You can be able to attack and be able to preserve feed, for example, food, by using electron beam.
During the same event, Baringo North MP Joseph Makilap, who is also a member of the Committee of Parliament that deals with education and research, emphasized on embracing and protecting local researchers.
For example, the BT cotton in this country is a product of research. I come from a place where BT cotton is grown. It will bring the necessary revolution in that industry so that we don't rely on mitumba and other things. We should be able to manufacture things from our country because we are cotton producing country.
During the festival, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development, in his speech that was read by a representative, he emphasized on building a knowledge-driven agricultural future. To get there are 5 interlocking pillars: sustainable and predictable research financing. Research must be recognized and treated as a strategic national investment. This means securing consistent public funding, leveraging blended finance models, and fostering catalytic partnerships with the private sector. Universities must move beyond theory and become active drivers of innovation. Support for innovation ecosystems and the effective management of intellectual property. Calls for locally informed yet nationally aligned research agendas. As Kenya grapples with food security challenges and the impacts of climate change, innovations like genetically modified potatoes could offer a glimpse into a more resilient agricultural future. Agutu Rosa, KTN.